welcome to Belmont Bunch. This week, we're going over this pretty much the second to last week the Islanders will be playing. They're mathematically out of the playoffs, and we're going to talk about it. Tom, how are you?
Well, I am sick, James, but I'm doing it for the crowd, doing it for the audience.
Doing it for all our adoring fans. I really noticed a lot of chatter in the comments. Keep that up. So
Yeah.
Tom, why don't you start us off by talking
Sure.
about the 4 games that happened this past week since we last talked.
Those 4 games, let me tell you, James, they happened already. They happened.
Yeah, I think
hockey was played.
I think we succeeded in defeating the opponent one time out of the 4 games.
We got a loser point, which is very important when the season's already over.
The day after you get mathematically eliminated, you get a loser point.
that's like, I don't know. That's so annoying. I guess there's a couple things. I'm gonna kind of skip over the Pittsburgh game, and the Montreal game a little bit. They're not news. They're not timely. This isn't timely.
They're not
this is a
fresh.
podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do the podcast whenever we want, but we choose to do it weekly because otherwise I die. First of all, kudos to Toronto. I couldn't help but think of the video I did a few years ago where I was like, "Dear Toronto," in a southern accent for some reason. I think I had just watched Gettysburg again, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it in the Robert E. Lee voice from by Martin Sheen."
Yes,
yeah.
I will link that video in the description.
Please don't, because everyone is gonna be like, "Dear Islanders, how's it feel to eat shit?"
Dear Belmont Bunch.
Yeah, but you know what?
Really cool.
I am.
Oh, sorry.
I am not as like childish a fan. I mean, that was a fun little joke. It wasn't even.
Yeah.
I think there were a few comments that like took it a little bit seriously at the time. But
that was one of the first videos that we had that like probably hit like a couple dozen views. I think it got like over 100 views.
Yeah, it did numbers, baby.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Little peel on the onion here. The problem with our content is that it's so time sensitive. So it's like, it's that if somebody watched that video now, they would be like, Toronto's pretty different team. So
yeah.
So
I mean, it's gone through some changes. But like the core is still there. The core got like helped out by some of the infusion of like older guys and experience. But I'll have to go back and watch that video and see if like they followed what I said. But we'll do that at a different time.
If they took your advice.
But I want to give credit to Toronto. They're not. There's a lot of memes that come around come playoff time. And they're going to continue until Toronto wins a playoff series, and that's been since 2004. But I said this last year and it was wrong, but I do feel like this team's a little bit different. They have a Hart caliber player in Austin Matthews. Their goaltending definitely needs to be better. I think if they had good goaltending, I would be like sky high on and maybe picking them to get to the conference final or further. As it stands, I think they're a really good team that is going to win a series. Well, it depends on the matchup, so I'm not going to hold myself to that yet. If they play Tampa, it's going to be really difficult. And we'll talk about how I don't like the seeding later. I'm doing a really good job of like throwing stuff to later. But yeah, so if they play Toronto, if they play Tampa, pretty difficult. Outside of that, I think they can win a series. Would I like to see them play Boston? Yes. Because there's no like that is entertaining either way. That's just good TV because they have lost to Boston like three times in the last 4 times they've been in the playoffs, and if they're gonna win. And I'm an Islander fan, but if Toronto's gonna win, I kind of want them to do it against Boston because it would be exercising demons for them. I don't like. Look, I obviously I'm a fan of the Islanders and. I've said that 5 times now, and we're on a podcast called Belmont Bunch, and I have an Islander jersey in the background, so I don't think I have to keep doing that. But no, I'll respect teams that play that I don't know. Toronto's been through a lot. They're the butt of a lot of jokes. I can see that. I'm a Jets fan. I'm an Islanders fan. I've been there, so I'm not going to be rooting for them. But if they win a series, I'm gonna be like, good on you guys.
Interesting take, honestly. Very grown-up take,
Thank you. And I've lost all like competitive fire.
Yeah. I can't remember if you said this in one of your videos or where, but saying that the whole like John Tavares things in the past, like he didn't. Oh yeah, you did say it in your video. Like he didn't seem like that, like crazy competitive in the game.
Yeah, I mean he seems like the kind of guy who when he's out competing, he's competing against himself. How they say like like you're I don't know. I think there's like a saying like your biggest competition is yourself.
I mean, I've heard that when people are like, like athletes training, they're like,
yeah,
they want
so
to be better
like
than they were yesterday, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah,
I think he's a lot like that because he never seems to like,
show any
anything.
Personality whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of it for sure. But I really have gotten like over that. Now the Islanders were so good for the 2 years after that. Mm-hmm. And this year I kind of see as absolutely it's a failure. But I don't see. I'm not quite at the point where I'm like, okay, the core is done. Mm-hmm. I think I was close to that probably at some point this year, but they like a lot of guys had better second halves. So
yeah. Actually, speaking of that, let's talk about the Florida game.
Mm-hmm.
And because you made some really interesting points. Well, you made some really interesting points here. Most of which was something I hadn't even considered. Again, Beauvillier. Mm-hmm. He's everybody knows he's streaky throughout the season. And like actually, I'm gonna see if I could pull up his points right now. But yeah, like he's on the line with the guy that has the most goals on the team.
Mm-hmm. And you would expect them to have more points.
Exactly. Yeah. So let me see if I could pull up his stats. But anyway, so what do you think of the game though?
My screen. Sorry, that happens like thrice an episode.
Sorry, I was actually getting too professional there. I'm glad that brought us back down. That feels good. Yeah.
But anyway. Anytime you feel professional, just look at my face real quick and you'll be fine.
Okay, whatever.
He's just tired looking person.
Beauvillier has 33 points.
Is that the amount of goals that Brock has?
Brock has 34 goals.
Okay, so Brock has more goals than Bo has points. Yeah, interesting.
Beauvillier has 12 goals, 21 assists. And he's a negative 11. Wow, that's bad. Which is only Okay, so I know the plus minus. It's just so interesting. I know it's not like a very reliable stat. Barzal is negative 13. He's the lowest minus on the team. Next is Green at negative 11, tied with Beauvillier at negative 11. Yeah. So I mean the whole first line. Then there's also Lee at negative 8. So but anyway, so that was just surprising.
Yeah, I mean the team has a -3 goal differential. Like
it was 0 last time we did this. So
yeah. So I think
our fault.
Yeah. But I don't know. Something positive to take out of the 4 games. Sorokin played all of them.
Yes.
And he was very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And we're at the point now where, I think he's, how there was a point around the mid-season mark where it was like, yeah, he's been good. Just he's got to clean up a couple stuff, bad goals here and there. We're at a point where I don't remember the last real bad one he gave up. And I think he is hitting his peak and he is ready to be number one with a bullet. And, maybe it puts him in a situation, you never know how an off season's going to go and how a team is going to go about it. Like you're like, oh, of course they'll go after Gaudreau and they'll go after Forsberg. But Lou talked about making hockey trades at like one of his press conferences.
Which means he'll only trade with the New Jersey Devils.
Yeah. But if Sorokin's this good, and I know you don't want to, like, we had the league's best goaltending this year, and that could be a good thing and a bad thing. That makes me worry that we depended on the goaltending too much, and we could have been even worse if we had mediocre goaltending. This could have been we could have bottomed out. But could they trade Varley if it gives them more cap space? Obviously, the only move that I've been considering like inevitable is moving Josh Bailey and giving away draft picks to make it more palatable for a team like Arizona that needs cap. And Josh Bailey playing better down the stretch helps that. So that's good. But like, I wonder if a team goes after Varley in a trade, maybe the Kraken. The Kraken had awful goaltending year one. They have a lot of draft picks. They have some cap space. I'm just kind of literally that just popped into my mind. And I was like, oh, maybe. But the Islanders are going to have to be creative in trying to turn this team into a more regular season friendly club, which means scoring more goals, and maybe sacrificing a little bit of but it's not even sacrificing defense. Cause like I said in my last video, I don't even think their defense has been very good. I think it's just the goaltending standing on its head.
Yeah.
So obviously probably the most important thing is scoring, but right there is another left-handed defenseman. And I'm going to now get back to the Florida stuff because I got away from that. But Florida's a really, really, really good team. I was, even after we lost, first of all, the Palmieri thing really bothered me, and I'll talk about that again in a sec. But I was pretty impressed that we were able to even hold them to 3. But a lot of that, again, Sorokin. Like, Sorokin was excellent. And the 2 goals that he gave up in regulation, once again, not really his fault. The first one, I'll just give credit to Barkov for just finding a lane. And the second one, yeah, the Isles maybe could have done a little bit better cleaning up that rebound. Seems like something they've not been good at recently.
Yeah, a lot of. I mean, that's something even from the last couple seasons, just being pretty rebounds, and then also being very sloppy in front of the net, like passing in front of the net. Like just being kind of careless. Most of the time, it doesn't hurt them, but every now and then, just like that costs them the game. So
yeah, and I mean, I really the game-winning goal really got under my skin. And if you watch the recap, you know,
yes,
because I mean that. Look, fans are going to the game still. They're paying exorbitant prices to go to these games after you've already been eliminated. And they're giving you good crowd energy. I think it's like disrespectful to do that to the fans. To end a game like that, I have to adjust my seat. I'm so angry. To end a game like that, where Ilya Sorokin's made as many saves as he has, where you've actually done a decent job as a team of just, I guess, limiting Florida's like high danger chances, when you as a team have, we're very close to beating Florida, a team that hasn't been shut out this year, 2-1. Like, they deserve some credit for that for sure. And thank God they, on Mike Bossy's like night, they actually showed up, at least a little bit. Cause I saw Florida on the schedule and I was like, oh no, please don't get annihilated on like the Mike Bossy tribute night. And they didn't, to their credit. But like, I don't know. I felt like that game was very emblematic of the whole year, where it doesn't matter how long a stretch they'll play all right for and they'll survive for and the goaltending will hold up for. Like, they're going to shoot themselves in the foot in the end. And that was a really, really, really lazy play. That was way too easy. So easy that I feel like the broadcast crew was like, and it's in.
Okay, wait. Let's rewind. So describe the overtime. So game's tied like 3 minutes ago or something, right? Yeah. And then describe overtime for us.
It was 20 seconds long.
Start from the beginning. Puck drop.
Florida won a faceoff, kicked it out to the wing. The Islanders probably got caught a little bit too high in their own zone. Look, I don't know I'm not at the team meetings. I don't know the system beat for beat. Maybe Noah Dobson stepped a little bit too aggressively to the puck carrier, but that is no excuse for JG Pageau or Palmieri, one of those two, to follow the guy who's on a hat trick, just driving down. It's not even like he did something creative, Barkov. He just skated straight ahead, and the Islanders took an hour to figure out, oh, he's skating straight ahead. Oh, I should go with him. Come on.
They thought he was going to curl back. I mean, anybody could have thought that.
I would like to hear the justification because, if Pageau and Palmieri thought that Dobson wasn't going to step up, I mean, they were both looking at the play. They could have seen it. Adjust. You have to adjust on the fly. One of you has to go. One of you has to get on their absolute horse. Hey, it's one thing if you just lose the race. Like, Barkov's probably a better skater than either of them, even though Pageau's a really good skater. But, I mean, just not recognizing that came off to me as extremely lazy. And it's an overtime. Like I said, maybe you score one and it's a nice Mike Bossy tribute. Like, you don't even get to touch the puck.
Yeah.
they should be embarrassed. And like Sorokin, just kind of left out to dry after. That's like disrespectful to your goalie too. Your goalie, you talk about how your goalie the other day, Matt Barzal said like, oh, he deserves more Vezina consideration. And of course it's going to go to Shesterkin. Shesterkin's been the best goalie.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's fair that, oh yeah, like let's hear a little bit more about Ilya. How about you do something for him? I know
Make
this
it
is
a little bit easier for the guy.
obviously that'd be an easier comparison if Barzal was also the skater that didn't get back. But he was like, I'm just saying, the team is talking about how he deserves more credit. How about you help him? How about you do something? So yeah, that's my Florida thing.
Yeah.
Congrats to Florida, by the way. I think they set a new season record for wins, or might have been points.
Let's see.
I know that their previous record was the year that they played us in the playoffs.
They have 116 points.
Yeah.
55 wins.
Yeah, I think they're going to set new records for each.
Jeez, they have 15 losses.
I know.
Oh, that's insane. 6 overtime losses. Damn.
I think I've seen 15
their goal differential. Just take a guess at what their goal differential is.
Plus
way higher than anybody else's.
180.
No, okay. Plus 100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely overdid it.
Yeah. Yeah. The next closest is like, I think it's 87. Hang on. Let's see. 87. Yeah, with Colorado.
Wow. And Colorado is obviously a very, very, very good team, so that's crazy. But
they're all right, I guess.
Also, the Panthers have won 11 in a row.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, Montreal, by the way, has exactly a minus 100 goals against.
Really? Wow.
The Florida Panthers are 200 goals better.
That's poetic. That rhymes.
It's like poetry.
Yes. And the Islanders are almost at zero. If they finish with a positive goal differential, that's an absolute win right there.
Sure. I mean, obviously
anything
we can hear. But okay, you had a surprise. So is there anything else that you want to talk about before?
I want to play a little clip from your last video about the Panthers game. This is a surprise segment I like to call Surprise. So
surprise, I'm canceling you. Tom, did you truly say this? This is anti-Kyle Palmieri Italian. Well, I'm Italian too.
So anyway, no, Andrew Cuomo is not coming on this podcast. Please, Andrew, please reconsider. So,
no, don't.
So, I think you should be able to hear this. I'm just going to play it through the speakers of my computer. You should be able to hear it. I'm going to turn the volume. There's probably going to be an echo. Whatever. Oh, I'm actually okay. So, just bear with me for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to mute myself, and then I'm going to play the video.
For the audience, I want you to know that James told us about this in our production meeting, which is 15 minutes before the podcast. We're like, I don't know, what the hell do you want to do tonight? So I have literally no idea what's coming.
All right, you can't. As soon as I mute myself, you can't hijack the show. That's not how it works. Okay. But yes, that's true. We had a production meeting. All right, here we go. But no, actually, I have some fun even when the Islanders are not in the playoffs. Probably more fun when the Islanders are not in the playoffs. Just because I'm a nerd, I like to pick I'm not going to fall back on the nerd thing. I just like making predictions. We're going to talk about... is that it? Yeah. And there you have it. Okay, so Tom just likes making predictions, guys. So I'm just going to have him make a few predictions. All right. God. So I got a fresh Google
the Islanders are not going to win the cup. Gotcha.
I got a fresh Google tab open here, and I'm gonna type in some prompts. And Tom, I want you to guess what the top prompt is. Okay.
Guess what the prompt is.
So the top search for thing following whatever I type in.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. So we're gonna start out with an easy one.
Jeggings.
Okay? I'm sorry.
Nothing.
So we're gonna start with an easy one. It could be anything. All right. So I'm gonna search. What is the? And what do you think? This is an easy one. This is just to get us started. What is the? And what do you think most people are Googling? What is the?
Oh, this is just like the world? This isn't tailored to you?
This is the world, yeah. You're predicting things. I know you like predicting things. You just told us you like predicting things. Here you are. Here's your moment to shine. Predict something.
I'm very confused. What is the?
If you were typing what is the into Google, what do you think the first suggestion would be? What is the?
World population.
Ooh. No. What is the Wordle today? Is the
Oh God, I don't do Wordle.
and then the next one down is what is the weather today? That's
Okay,
probably
that
like
makes
more
sense.
normal. Okay. Oh, what is the metaverse? Notable mention. Okay.
God,
All right.
Ted.
Now we're gonna get cooking here with a little bit more Islanders theme thing. So if I type in "Are the Islanders?" what do you think comes up?
Uh,
Think think. I'll give you a hint. Think a little generic on this one.
are the Islanders a hockey team?
A little too generic, but I like
Uh,
it. I'll give you
are
one more
the
shot.
Islanders gonna make the playoffs?
Ooh, close, 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 close. So okay, the top search is "Are the Islanders playing tonight?"
Oh
That is
God,
the top.
I'm not thinking like what I would Google. Like,
Exactly, exactly.
yeah,
So the next one down though is "Are the Islanders out of the playoffs?" I like the pessimistic attitude of the Islanders fans by default. They're not. Are we in the playoffs?
so
No.
I would say that's optimistic. Where it's like you should know the answer in your heart, sir,
Well,
or
actually,
madam.
I just read the third one down is "Are the Islanders in the playoffs?"
Mhm.
Are the Islanders winning? Are the Islanders on TV tonight? Anyway,
These are just the things that boomers ask Siri or
yeah.
Alexa when they're
Allegra.
like,
Are the Islanders on
Alexa,
tonight?
are the Islanders playing tonight? No, I've told you 5 times. Okay.
All right. The last one is Islanders are blank.
We're a team. Sorry, that's a reference to Ottawa. Um, Islanders are cool.
Ooh, ding, 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 ding. That's it. You got it.
Islanders are playing tonight.
No. Wow, you ruined it. Really
What
bad.
is it?
Really poor.
It's a weird.
It thinks that you misspelled arena and it says Islanders Arena. But
What do you want me to do with this?
You said you like making predictions.
I feel like I literally today had free time and watched the trivia episodes of Red Letter Media, and this
Yes.
is what it feels like.
Yeah.
I
Wait,
feel
the
like
ones where they're
Jay-
talking about Star Trek and Jay knows nothing.
That's what I feel like right
they're
now. I feel like
hysterical.
Jay doing the Star Trek stuff.
But in all seriousness, the first prompt that starts with Islanders are from. Islanders are from, I guess. Actually, let's Google it. See what shows up. Where are the
All
Islanders
over the
from?
world. There's a lot of islands.
New York Islanders. Where do the Islanders come from? Pacific Islanders come from the islands of Hawaii. They think they mean Pacific
This is good
Islanders.
stuff, James. This is cultural.
Okay, all right. Oh, wait. All right. Oh, I just gave a sneak preview of what we're talking about next. So thank you for making those predictions, Tom. If you want to make your own predictions of anything, really, leave them in the comments below.
No, don't want that. Like, the world will end tomorrow.
No,
That's gonna be a comment now.
hockey-related predictions, please keep it clean in the comments, guys. All right. So that was my surprise bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tom,
Well,
why don't we talk
let
a
me
little
tell
bit
you.
about other?
Let me tell you how
things?
useless that was.
How useless was it? Can I predict how useless it was?
Yes.
Uh,
Finish the sentence.
What?
That was so.
That was so clever. That was so insightful. We learned a lot about you, Tom. We're getting a picture of your psyche.
I was gonna say sickening.
For science. Anyway, so Tom, you wanted to talk a little bit about the playoffs to wrap up this weekly wrap up.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna recover from what we just did, but I'm gonna try. Now is the time where we have our yearly pissing of the pants over the playoff system. And it's funny because I say it like that, like I'm going to say, no, it's fine. And everybody, no, but I actually am on the crowd of like, I want to go back to 1v8 in each conference.
Let's just describe that a little bit because
Sure.
I'm not the biggest hockey aficionado from the past.
Mhm.
So when did they change it and what's the difference?
So I'm trying to recall the year that it changed. I know 14-15, I'm pretty sure it was still 1v8. I want to say it was like 15-16 maybe it was implemented. But I am not a big fan of the division heavy playoff system that it is now. As we know it, as newer fans know it, the top 3 teams in each division, the 4 divisions get in, and then 2 wildcards can come from either division in each conference. This system, a lot of years, tends to be fairly similar to what 1v8 would have been. But doesn't mean you can't improve it and just go back to it. Because I'm looking at right now the East, and
look at
the 1v8 matchup is what it would be. So that's good. Florida Panthers are the number 1 seed overall, and they right now would play the Capitals, who are technically the 8th seed. They are the 8th best team in the East, a mere 16 points out of the Islanders, which the Islanders have games in hand. They can make it up. No, we're even on games. No. But actually, they're a point back of Pittsburgh. A win puts them ahead of Pittsburgh. So we could be heading for a Rangers-Capitals series. But my point is, right now, Toronto is the 2 seed in the whole conference. And they've earned that. And they would right now have to play. So in the 2v7, it would have been Toronto versus Pittsburgh. And that's fair. Toronto has earned it by playing well. They deserve to play a worse team. That's what we play 82 games for. But no, because we do this weird system that was implemented with the purpose of having, let's have teams develop rivalries by playing each other in the playoffs a lot. I have a personal preference of I would like it. First of all, it doesn't feel as natural. 1v8 feels like there's a lot of random chaos involved. And so, a lot of things have to fall together to play a certain team. Mm-hmm. In this system, I think at the end of the year, it leads to a lot of, let's lose. Let's not win the division. Because if you're in the Metro right now, I'll do the Toronto thing first and then I'll do the Metro one. But Toronto right now is in line to play the 5 seed in the whole conference. It would be 2v5. Tampa Bay, despite being at 100 points and being so they're 3rd in their division right now. So they're not the wild card. Sorry. Boston and Tampa Bay are right on top of each other. But everybody's trying to avoid playing Tampa and Boston. And I know this kind of happens a little bit in the older system too. But like I said, 82 games. Toronto, it's a big difference playing Pittsburgh versus playing, or the Caps, versus playing Tampa. And I know there's a lot of chance in there as well, but I don't feel like the current system adequately awards the teams at the top. You deserve to play the lower seeds. And also as a fan of those lower seeded teams, like if the Islanders had snuck into the 8, the Islanders would have deserved to play the 1 seed, because when you just sneak in, you don't deserve to be rewarded by playing a worse team.
Yeah, you got to work for it. You can't just sneak in and then play a middling playoffs team.
And that's kind of happening a little bit in the West, where right now I think I'm looking at the conference and Edmonton is, I guess because they're the 5 in the conference, they're scheduled to play the 7. In the 1v8 system, they'd be playing St. Louis, and I think a lot of people would pick St. Louis. But as it stands, Edmonton would play LA, because we're going by division, which leaves it up to one division being really bad, and that just screws up all the matchups. And in the Pacific is not terrible, but like I said in the preseason when I had the Kraken finishing 2nd, that I thought, it was a weak division, and at the end of the year, the Central was going to have both wild cards. And guess what? That's exactly what's happening. So I got one prediction right. Like I said, 1v8, it has that element of randomness. We're not forcing 2 teams in the division to play against each other. I want to see teams. I want to see a more natural playoff system that doesn't try to force feed rivalries. Yeah, so that's what I've been trying to say for like 10 minutes, but just now got the sentence together.
And man, we could not have predicted that. It's going to be a thing. Okay. So the one when you were kind of briefly mentioning this to me before we started, I completely agree. And the thing, sure, force field rivalries, like I can understand like the desire to try and drive up parity, right, in the NHL, all that stuff. But it just gets boring. I mean, like, we've played Pittsburgh
a lot
in the play. I mean, the last 3 playoffs, we played them the first or second round. I mean, I guess the first round is really the only one that matters for what you're talking about. But it's just boring. It's like, and I never even thought about it in the terms of like it doesn't, it's not fair to the 2nd seed. overall.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah, like Toronto should get to play one of the wild card teams. They are ahead in the standings than both of the two teams that are tied for first in the Metro. And I know it seems like not much because it's a 2-point division, but you play 82 games. It will come down to that. And I think you should reward the team that finds a way on enough nights to get the higher seed. And yeah, we've played Pittsburgh a lot. There was a time where I was just happy we'd make the playoffs and I didn't care. But I mean, we've seen them play Pittsburgh in 2013, 2019, 2020, not last year, but and the 1v8, I mean, 2013 was prior to the new playoff system.
Right.
So that felt like that was more, I don't know how to describe it. It was just more fun. The Islanders were the lowest seed that year. And you felt like, yeah, we got in. It's a lot of fun. It was their first time in the playoffs in a while, but they should have to go through the one. And, as it stands, Pittsburgh and Washington are both good teams, but, they should be the two wild cards. They should be the 7 and the 8, is what I'm saying. Like Boston, Tampa, all four of the playoff teams in the Atlantic are better than Pittsburgh and Washington. But Pittsburgh and Washington will get I don't know. I don't want to piss off Ranger fans by saying an easier matchup. But, there are some teams that just have like playoff performers. Tampa Bay is one of those teams. Nobody wants to play Tampa.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what seed. Tampa could be the 8th seed and you wouldn't want to play them. I don't know. I'd like to hear in the comments what people think. I don't think I made an amazing case. I think I can hear some better cases out there. I guess my personal preference is just feeling like when you're pigeonholing two spots specifically to play each other. I know you're kind of doing that 1v8 as well, but 1v8, getting the chance to play somebody in your other division that you don't play as much in the regular season, I actually prefer that. I had more fun the last few years when the Islanders played Boston. Didn't have fun when they played Tampa, but that's for a different reason. But I don't know. I think part of it is probably the parity in the NHL needs to get a little bit better. Like, other than the Islanders, it feels like the teams that have been bad have been bad for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it feels like that, and I wonder if
like the Devils and Ottawa and Buffalo and Detroit's been bad for like 6 years now.
Yeah. I was gonna say it might feel like that because the playoff system changed and those teams are still bad. Where give it another 2 or 3 years and they might be making the playoffs. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I just, as it stands right now, I don't think it adds that much. Like, one of these years maybe we'll get an Islander Ranger playoff series, and that would be pretty crazy.
That would be awesome.
It's been a while since that happened. I think it's been since like 94.
Wow.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
But
anyway, all right. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Please leave your predictions in the comments below about really anything. Keep it clean.
The more you say that, the less likely it is.
Yeah. And thanks for watching. We have some special guests lined up soon. You know who you are if you're listening or watching. If you've made it this far, our one and only fan.
It's Enrico Palazzo.
What?
Nothing. It's Enrico Palazzo.
Okay. Who's that?
It's a joke from The Naked Gun.
Oh. Good one, Tom. Good one.
Yeah, thank you.
If you guys could have predicted that Tom was going to make that joke, leave it in the comments below. All right.
James, I told you have to applaud all my jokes.
I'll insert the canned laughter,
Very good. If anybody survived to this point.
Yeah. All right.